Hello and welcome to Special Stage Extra. We're here in Dolgelly for the third round of the Welsh Rally Championship, Rally North Wales. Now we had a lot of rain overnight, which means that the stages could be a little bit tricky. Let's head out there and see some of the action.
On to the morning stages then, and it would be the early lead for Luke Francis and John Roberts. They were finding the stages slippery, but they still managed to open up a 43-second lead. Sadly, things would go the other way for Dylan Davies and Mark Glenister. They retire in stage one with an engine fire. Ewan Rowlands and Emma Hall would put in a good performance in the opening stages, lying second at this stage, even with a spin in stage 3 and a misted up screen, leading the way in their Class 2. Rowlands wouldn't be the only one with problems. Andy Davis and Max Freeman would also be suffering a little. The car not handling as it should, they would have some adjustments to make in service. But at least for now, they would still be leading the way in Group N. There would be worse problems in Group N though, as we lose Paul Davey and Roger Allen when they go out in the opening stage with a broken exhaust. And the bad luck didn't stop there, as we also lose Woog Utting and Bob Stoko, the suspension breaking on the Subaru in stage 2. Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh have a little better luck. Some good times in the opening stages would see them swapping times at the top, but sadly that would all come to an end in stage 3 when they suffer mechanical problems and wouldn't make it out in the afternoon. John Rowlands and Glenn Latham end the morning with 5th place in the Escort. They would have hoped to be a little further up, but that wasn't to be. They do lead the way in the class though. Current championship leader Andrew Jones with Dale Furness alongside settle in well too. 6th place at this stage. It wasn't the smoothest of runs on occasions, but the times were looking good at the top of their class. Boyd Kershaw and Mark Fisher make a good start to the day with 7th overall. They lie just 6 seconds behind our championship leader at this stage and currently lying 2nd in their class. They will be just a single second further back to Simon Thomas and Mark Williams in 8th place. A few moments along the way giving them a scare, but they reached the end of this morning with that place overall and 2nd in Class 8. Nev Jones and Chris Davies revert back to the Subaru for this round, and they were having a steady day. No drama to report as the pair lie just inside the top 10 and currently 2nd in the class behind a soon-to-be retired Steve Simpson. And rounding out the top 10 were Simon Dalton and Steve Turvey. The first visit to these stages, so they were settling in. They lie 2nd in the Group M battle at this stage too. In the classes outside the top 10, it would be 2nd place in Class 5 for Hewell Davies and Richard Crozier. They reached the midpoint without drama and lie in 11th place overall. Sadly, we would lose James Watkins and Richard Suter, the clutch going on the car on stage 3 and James switching to four-wheel drive this season. James Williams and Paul Wakely make a great start to the day with the lead in Class 3. It wasn't without its problems. A misted up screen and a spin would add to the stage times, but it didn't seem to be holding them back too much. The times were close overall, with Tim Keynes and Richard May just a single second behind them. Their fight was in Class 6 though, and for now it will be 3rd in the class there with no real drama to report. For Kerry Hughes, it would be a new co-driver with Brynmore Pierce alongside and a new engine, but things were still going well despite plenty to get used to. They lie 4th in Class 6 at this stage. For Sean Ellis and Dan Nyroda, it will be 15th place overall, the pair reaching the midpoint with 5th place in Class 6, but they had a minute gap to Hughes ahead. It would be an overall place they share with Colin and Martin Griffiths. The BMW pair on identical times overall to Ellis, but their battle was in Class 7, where they were lying 2nd at this stage. Matt Jackson and Claire Williams were of course keen to keep up the good fortune that this season was bringing. They reached the end of this loop with 2nd place in Class 3, as well as 17th overall. Jane Auden-Rowe and David Auden leave their MG at home and bring out the Evo this weekend. Going okay for the pair, who lie 3rd in Class 8 for now and 18th overall. Graham Thatcher and Tudor Jenkins were finding the stages demanding. They have a few moments along the way but reach the end of the morning stages with 4th place in Class 8. Jake McKenna and Cal McElhinney will be suffering a little with the car overheating. They get through this loop with the lead in Class 2 though. For Dylan Parry and Ewan Griffith, it will be just outside the top of Class 6, with 6th place in the class and 21st overall. Paul Ellis and Simon Jones reached the midpoint with 2nd place in Class 2 and 22nd overall. And for Rydian Price and Peredur Wyn Evans, it will be 23rd overall, rounding out the top of the Class 3 results with 3rd in the class. So at the midpoint in the events, it's Luke Francis with the advantage, but with 2 stages more to go, anything could happen.
So Luke, you're leading. How's it been going?
Yeah, it's been going okay. We're just taking it steady really with the conditions as they are. There's no real push, but yeah, it's having a really good day so far. It's going well.
Yeah. You said you were taking it steady, but you're still managing to beat everybody else. How do you think you're managing that?
Well, I think to be honest, we've got quite a good heater in the car, so the windscreen's clear, and it's one of them. I don't know. It's all quite uphill as well, so with the car being fairly quick and light, we've got a bit of an advantage. I'm 4-wheel drive over the other car, so yeah, it's going quite well.
So you're over halfway. How have things been going this morning?
Tricky this morning. We're struggling as the back end of the car is locking up, and it's trying to overtake the front all the time. But we just did a few things in stage 3, and we set a bit of a better time then. So hopefully we're going to build on that this afternoon and go out with a lock diff and see if we can get it round. Yeah. But yeah, enjoying the stages. They're real open, fast and flowing, and just slick.
Yeah. So not the best of starts to the day for you, is it here?
Well, we did have a good start, yeah. We was joint leading on the first stage. Second stage we had a spin, so we were still second after the second stage, so it was a good start. But unfortunately on the third stage then, halfway through, we broke either the shaft or the diff. We're just having a look now. So we lost us a minute and a half, and that's game over for us.
You're calling it a day?
Calling it a day, going home, early bath.
So we're 3 stages down this morning with Luke Francis currently taking the lead. Let's head out to the stages and see if he can keep hold of it this afternoon.
On to the afternoon then, and there will be no change to 3rd in the class for Rydian Price and Peredur Wyn Davies, 3rd place in Class 3 and 21st overall. No change for Paul Ellis and Simon Jones as they reach the end of the event with 2nd in Class 2 and 20th overall. Sadly, we lose Jane Auden-Rowe and Dave Auden when they retire in Stage 4. Dylan Parry and Ewan Griffith don't manage to advance on the class anymore. They end the event with that 6th place in Class 6 and 19th overall. Jake McKenna and Cal McElhinney get to the finish despite this morning's overheating problems to end the event with 18th overall and the win in Class 2. Graham Thatcher and Tudor Jenkins take a place in Class 8 with the loss of Auden and take 3rd in the class to finish. Matt Jackson and Claire Williams get themselves to the finish line with 2nd place in Class 3, but it wasn't without some damage along the way caused by a large puddle of water pulling them into the scenery. And indeed, that puddle would catch a few people, with Sean Ellis and Dan Nyroda also becoming one of the lucky ones to get to the finish after going off here. They end the event with 15th place overall, despite the unscheduled trip into the scenery. There will be no catching the Class 7 leaders this weekend, so it will be 2nd in the class for Colin and Martin Griffiths. They had a good run to end the day with 14th overall. For Kerry Hughes and Brynmore Pierce, it will be 13th place overall, the pair ending the event with 4th place in their class. Tim Cairns and Richard May put the misfortunes of Mid Wales behind them to get to the end of this event this weekend, with the final step on the podium in Class 6 as well as 12th overall. Despite some scary moments, it will be the Class 3 win for James Williams and Paul Wakely this weekend. Things going well to put them as 2nd in the class championship after this round. Hewell Davis and Richard Crozier have a good run to 2nd in Class 5. They also managed to round out the top 10 overall at the end of the event. Simon Dalton and Steve Turvey get their season off to a good start after missing the first 2 rounds. They take 9th place overall and 2nd in the Group N class. Nev Jones and Chris Davies end the event with 8th, and with the loss of Steve Simpson in the morning stages, it would mean they take the WRC class win. Sadly, a few penalties would cost John Rowlands and Glenn Latham some valuable time, and they end the event with 7th overall with stage times that would have seen them 4th. For Simon Thomas and Mark Williams, it will be second place in Class 8. The pair end the event with a few scary moments along the way and finish in 6th place overall. For Andrew Jones and Dale Furness, it will be 5th place today and the Class 5 win. The result does mean that Jones continues to lead the championship's overall standings after round 3. Boyd Kershaw and Mark Fisher have a good run this weekend to end the event with the class win, just missing out on the podium places and ending the event with 4th place overall. And for Andy Davis and Max Freeman, it would be the Group N win. They get to the finish of the event with that final step onto the podium and miss out on 2nd place by just 4 seconds. And in that 2nd place were Ewan Rowlands and Emir Hall. They take the runner-up place as well as the Class 7 win and finally start to get some points on the leaderboard for this season. But for this weekend at least, it would be win number 2 for Luke Francis and John Roberts. The pair have a great run to take victory by over a minute, and the result pushes them into 2nd place overall on the championship standings. So before we chat to our winners, let's take a look at the final overall results here at Rally North Wales.
So Luke, you are our winner today. How's it feeling?
Yeah, it's been a good day. We came here with some good expectations of what we were going to get today. It was just unfortunate that the few lads behind us had mechanical problems, but we've been there in those situations before. So yeah, we've had a brilliant day.
Tricky conditions to start with, and I think as well some of the tracks getting a little bit more cut up towards the end.
Yeah, the weather didn't help at all, but you know, it's the same for everyone else, isn't it? You know, we just drove to the conditions and yeah, came out on top.
And the car was on its best behaviour, was it?
No, it wasn't actually. We had a few problems with the anti-lag, so we ran without that all day. So which makes a little, quite a bit of difference. But you know, we still kept going. So yeah, it was good.
Good, well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So 2nd place, well done. How are you feeling?
Yeah, over the moon. We're glad to get to the finish because we've been having gearbox problems for the last few rallies now, and we were pushing fairly hard all day. Cheers. No, the car's been faultless all day. It'd be a shame for my brother. He had too many penalties, but we were having a good battle with Andy, trying to keep him behind us.
Yeah.
Now it was great stages, fantastic.
So not the best start to the day, but a pretty good end. 3rd place, congratulations.
Yeah, we're chuffed a bit, to be honest, just to get to the finish. Like, it's a good achievement for us. There's points on the board and puts us in a more strong position for the rest of the year.
Yeah. How do you think you managed it?
Boys in service, really. We just did a lot of things this morning. After we had a nightmare stage 1 and 2, the back end of the car locking up. But they fixed it in service, adjusted the diffs, and when we went into the afternoon, it was a different car. Yeah. So loads of grip, and if it was our car in the morning, it may have been a different story.
Great stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So Luke Francis takes the win at round 3 of the Welsh Rally Championship. Stay tuned on Special Stage Extra for more rally action.
The Malcolm Wilson stages saw the start of the 2016 Motorscope Northern Historic Rally Championship, and as well as the cars, some classic stages awaited the crews. Over the first couple of stages, it will be the early lead for Steve Bannister and Kim Gray. The first time in the car together, and things were going well for the pair. Marcus and Helen Noble will be the closest rivals at this stage for Bannister, but the gap between them and the leader will be 54 seconds now. That would be a big ask to make up without any problems up ahead. They would have to watch out behind, however, with Charlie Taylor and Alan Ward taking 3rd at this stage, but only 6 seconds back from Noble ahead. Phil and Caroline Jobson lie just outside the podium places after stage 3. They will be 39 seconds off Taylor ahead, but they didn't have a big advantage in that position themselves. Jobson, in fact, would only have 5 seconds of an advantage in that 4th place, with Dave Forrest and Charlie Carter taking up 5th at this stage. Their position also meaning they lead the way in the H2 class. Their lead in that class and the overall results was from Mike Reed and Chris Sharp-Simkis, 2nd in the class and 6th on the leaderboard, with 18 seconds of a gap to Forrest. Rob Graham and Helen Harkness, meanwhile, lead the way in the H1 class at this stage. 7th place overall, and with a 12-second lead in the class. And they would have a good margin in that place too, with Charlie Blaney and Adrian Wilford rounding out the results at this stage. So at the end of the morning loop of stages, the results are looking like this. On to the next couple of stages, and there would be no change in the lead as Steve Bannister and Kim Gray continue to lead the way, now with a 2-minute advantage. There would, though, be change in second place. Charlie Taylor and Alan Ward step up to take that position, but only just. There was a single second between them and third place at this stage of the rally. And of course, in that third place were Marcus and Helen Noble. They drop back a place on the overall results, but sadly, that would all change when they retire after the final stage in this loop. Phil and Caroline Jobson still remain the best of the rest outside the podium. 48 seconds the gap now, but they were gaining an advantage themselves in that position. And Dave Forrest and Charlie Carter would remain in fifth, the time slipping away from the crews ahead a little, but things were still going well for the pair. And in fact, there wouldn't be much change to those reaching the end of stage 6. Mike Reed and Chris Sharp-Simkis still remaining in 6th place at the end of this loop. And for Rob Graham and Helen Harkness, it will be 7th place still. The gaps ahead growing a little now, but they do still lead the way in the H1 class. 2 more stages remaining then here, the results looking like this. On to the final stages then, and it will be 7th place for Charlie Blaney and Adrian Wilford, 3rd in the H2 class. Rob Graham and Helen Harkness end the rally with 6th, the sole survivors in the H1 class, so victory, of course, was theirs. For Mike Reed and Chris Sharp-Simkis, it will be 2nd place in the H2 class at the finish of the rally, the pair ending the day with 5th place overall. And for Dave Forrest and Charlie Carter, it will be just outside the top 3 here at round 1. 4th place overall and taking that Class H2 victory. Onto those podium places then, and it will be 3rd place for Phil and Caroline Jobson, finishing the day with a minute's gap either side of them. For Charlie Taylor and Alan Ward, it will be the runner-up position, 2nd place in the H3 class and overall this weekend for the pair. But taking victory after leading all day was Steve Bannister and Kim Gray, the gap extending to over 2.5 minutes by the end of the rally. So at the end of round 1 at the Motorscope Northern Historic Rally Championship, the results look like this.
Steve, Kim, fantastic result today and a battle as well all day.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't know how good Boyd Kershaw would be. We knew Phil Burton would be quick up here, especially in Grisdale, because he knows Grisdale very well. But yeah, and unfortunately he had a bit of an off on Matterdale or whatever.
Yeah.
But really pleased with how we've gone today, you know. The old historic cars held up again, along with the historic bloke.
It certainly has. Kim, you are no stranger to how fast Boyd goes, so you must have been sat there thinking, yeah, this guy's got pace.
Yeah, absolutely. I've not sat with Steve before, but you know, I know the sort of pace he's got, and yeah, I don't think he disappointed today for an old man.
I don't think he did either, and I think the banter's going to continue long past this interview. Well done, guys. Good result.
Yeah, really good. You know, first brilliant season, good to get a win. Yeah, definitely.
Round 2 of the championship headed a little further north and to the Border Counties Rally, and the weather once again will be kind to the crews. It will be a different round, but the story will be the same. Steve Bannister and Kim Baker taking the early lead in the rally, with a 38-second advantage at the midway point. Things will be different in 2nd place at this round, though. Andy Kelly and Campbell Roy joining the championship and the battle at round 2, putting in some good times to take that 2nd spot. Things were going much the same here for Dave Forrest and Charlie Carter as they had at round 1. They do, though, round out the podium at this stage with 1.5 minutes to Kelly up ahead. And for Alan McMorran and Albert Connolly, it would be a place just outside the podium, but the gap ahead would mean that was probably where they were likely to stay. So with a smaller entry at round 2, the results in the championship at the halfway point look like this. Onto the afternoon stages then, and there would be no change to fourth. Alan McMorran and Albert Connolly end the rally with that position. Dave Forrest and Charlie Carter go one better than their round one result as they end the rally with the final step on the podium here at round 2. Sadly for Andy Kelly and Campbell Roy, there was nothing they could do to gain time on the leaders. Second place will be theirs this weekend though, after a good fight with a good lead as well in that position. But making it 2 wins from 2 rounds will be Steve Bannister and Kim Baker. The times were good and the pair maintained the lead all day to take victory by the finish. Two rounds done then in the Motorscope Northern Historic Rally Championship, and the results at the end of the second round looked like this. The Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship made its second visit to Cadwell Park this weekend and played a vital role as well in the story of the championship, with 2 drivers battling it out and a few more in the mix should anything happen. The season was far from plain sailing to the finish. Ashley Field would take the early lead, the conditions this weekend favouring the car, but of course he wouldn't have it all his own way. Local driver David Tin making sure he didn't get too far ahead. Field's main rival for the championship though will be James Sharrock, but it wouldn't be the ideal start for the Escort driver, ending the first half of the day with 6th place. Things would take a dramatic turn in the afternoon stages though, as rally and championship leader Field pulls over, retiring from the event, leaving the victory this weekend to Tin, but most importantly for the championship battle, the odds stacked very much in Sharrock's favour going into the final round. Round 8 heads to Snetterton, and with plenty to still be decided right through the championship standings, it was going to be a tense and exciting finale to the championship. Before that though, you can catch all of the action from the penultimate round at Cadwell Park on Motors TV and online on Friday the 29th of April.
Two left push on the